Alright, since I haven't made a video in a while, I thought I would go ahead and do a video I've been wanting to do for a little while. A commentary on a Lego movie that I made a long time ago when I was like 12 or 13, something like that. But yeah, since it'd be interesting because this is like the longest one I ever made, and I did it without a script, just like all of my other stop motion animation videos. And yeah, so I'll try to explain the story as it goes along. It's going to be kind of hard because I did not plan good spacing in the video for audio. I knew nothing about recording audio. I didn't have a microphone. I didn't have any software to record any audio, so I don't know what I don't know what I was doing. If I knew what I was doing, I would have made it so that it could be a silent film. But yeah, so that was me not planning at all. So I will go ahead and play it, and I'm going to pause it every so often here to explain things going on in the video. Alright, so I just want to pause it right here. I don't know why it was called Lego Rebellion. My best guess is it was like a Star Wars thing, but it wasn't supposed to be Star Wars, but it was like kind of similar to Star Wars. And I'm pretty sure I spelled rebellion wrong. I don't know. I'm guessing that it's wrong because it looks wrong. So I will look up the word and see how to spell it. Alright, so I'm going to pause here. What's going on is this guy is walking, supposed to be walking through a hallway. If I'd known what I was doing, I would have made it look more like a hallway. But as you can see, the animation is really choppy. That's because I used natural light instead of having my own light source and having like the room entirely black, dark, or whatever. But yeah, he's just like heading down this hallway, and it's funny if you look at the doors there, you can see the camera, and you can see me, well, at least my hands, and what color shirt I was wearing. But yeah, so if you watch the doors as it plays, you can see my hands move. Okay, so he comes through the other side of the door into the bridge, I guess, whatever that thing is, where the captain is. I don't want to call it the cockpit because it's supposed to be like a huge ship thing run by several people and not just one pilot or whatever. So basically, he's going to ask the captain when they're going to get to wherever it is they're going, because despite the fact that he's like an old Jedi, he is kind of like a little kid, and when are we gonna get there? So he goes and asks him, and before he can answer, something happens. They go sliding, and then this guy runs over and checks the screen, tells them they're under attack. They signal the red alert, and then they get hit again. Okay, now this part is really confusing if you don't know what's going on. So basically what happened is that they crash landed on a nearby planet somehow. I don't know. I'm not the same person when I wrote this as when I wrote this. So anyway, they crash landed on this planet. And what happened there is the guy got up and he kicked this rock, and then there's like this weird sound, and he looks around, doesn't know what made it, and he's like, what the heck made that noise? And here he's basically just explaining their situation. basically just a still shot. They set up camp. All right, so now he's handing out weapons to people, and here he tries to hand a weapon to the guy, and he's like, no, I don't need a weapon. He's like, see, I got my trusty lightsaber. And he's like, well, I think you should have one anyway. So he gives him a weapon, gives them a weapon, gives everybody a weapon. And then that guy there, like, I guess is like the only guy with a personality in the entire video, but he's like supposed to be a guy who's got like a bad attitude or something, and he's like, hey, what about me? For whatever reason. And so, he has him pass a weapon to him, and he says something, and yeah. Now, the guy sitting down, the thing he was holding was supposed to be a recording device, and he was like basically making a journal, while they're crash landed. And the Jedi comes, and he's like, hey, why don't you wake me up? It's my turn to guard. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, well, why don't you go get some rest? And so the guy gets up, walks over to the sleeping area, and then he sits down, and he sighs with the fade out. Now, another thing, I don't know why they are guarding without a weapon. I just happened to think of that. I've watched this through a few times. I do not know why they did not. Don't know why. Don't have a clue why they did not use weapons while they were guarding. So anyway, now what's going on is they're about to go hunting, saying goodbye. So the three of them are heading out, and that guy on the far right, on the right, is like, I hope they bring something back soon. I'm starving. And the captain is like, it's like, yeah, we're all starving, so just shut up, or something like that. So they're walking, and he realizes they're not walking, and he turns around and asks what's the matter. And I don't remember what the conversation was here. I do remember the guy in the far back, he agrees with him, and then they look, and he's like, hey, I see a town. He's like, what, you see a town? He's like, yeah, look out there. So they see it, and they go, and then this creature follows them to camp. And then he trips, and the guys, they all trip, and he's telling them about, them seeing the town, and he's like, well, we better get going. And so he grabs his gun, and then the creature, and then for whatever reason, they shoot at it, and then kill it. I just want to say, it wasn't attacking them. Why did they kill it? That makes no sense. And then they hit it with a lightsaber and make its eyes go black. I don't know. It's been like, what if I made this when I was 13? That'd be like 4 years ago. This movie, that was a long time ago for me. So, yeah. But anyway, they go to this town. And that thing's supposed to be like a security camera. It spots them. These droids show up, tells them surrender. And they're like, nope. So he grabs his weapon and chomps the guy and chops the thing's arm off. And I had the idea that these robots are robots that can grow new robots based, like if they get a part chopped off, they can just grow a new robot part and then have more robots. I'm pretty sure that even in a science fiction world would be physically impossible. But hey, that's what was going through my 12-year-old mind. And also, I think it's kind of weird. They have a red road. And also I noticed that like all the characters in this video are really violent and resort to violence first. Like, they don't even know what planet they're on, and they're just starting to attack stuff. You know, for all they knew, that creature that followed them could have been intelligent life. So, yeah, they're pretty stupid in this video. Alright, so they're asking me, always surrender now, and they're just like, no. And then this thing that I built, which is made out of like R2 legs. The R2 body is part of the gun thing in the front there, and so they're like, will you surrender now? And so the guy's like, yep. And so now they're in prison. That guy's pacing back and forth. And I just want to say right here, the animation is a lot better now because I used natural light. No, I mean, I didn't use natural lighting. I had a lamp and everything. I'm pretty sure the previous few shots were a little bit better animation, but I wasn't really paying attention too much. But yeah, for those scenes, I used a lamp, and for those, and then this one I used an LED light for this, and I think I did a pretty good job of choosing the light for the look on the camera. And believe me, it looks a lot different. It looked a lot different in real life, and actually when I took the picture with the camera. But then once I went back and looked, like on the camera, it looked different, and then when it took the picture, it made it look like this. So yeah, he's pacing back and forth, and he puts his hand out. He's like, "Stop pacing, please. It's getting annoying." And then this guy is saying something, and they start talking. I don't know what the conversation is. I do not remember. So he's like, yeah, I've been here a long time. And he's like, how long? He's like, oh, I'd say about 80 years. He's like, dude, that's like impossible. Like, you're really young. And he's like, they have the freezing machine thing. And he's like, what the heck's the freezing machine? And he tells him about it, and it's a machine that freezes you. Yeah. And yeah, more talking back and forth. Don't have a clue what they're talking about. And then he shows him this remote thing that he's planning to use to shut down the robots. And the remote thing, he was like telling them how he was making it out of spare parts that he's been able to smuggle in, though being in a prison where they're mining, I don't know how he's getting spare parts to make a remote. So, yeah. Alright, so here they're mining this green stuff. So he puts his stuff in, and then he uses the remote, shuts down the robots, and they all take off running. And that is the end of the video. I did not make any more of it. I don't think I planned any further than that. I got stuck, and I was like, well, I'll think of it sometime. I'll do it sometime. But, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm going to finish the video sometime, because I'm not. I'm not going to get back into stop motion, though if I decided to, I think I would be able to do a much better job, because I obviously am able to record. I would obviously record dialogue first and then base my animation off of that, but yeah, so that's not ever going to happen. So yeah, so that was my Lego video from when I was like 12 or 13.